Good morning, Pankaj sir. Thank you for joining us for another exciting session. You are on mute, sir.
Hi everyone, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Morning,
sir,
sir.
yeah, before we begin with the session, can I give a short brief about the group and then I will give the stage to you, sir.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Please do confirm if my screen is visible.
It is.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Once again, thank you very much for joining. So again, we are back with an exciting session with Pankaj Namdev on Marketing Cloud. So the topic of this session will be Automation Studio and Contact Builder. So yeah, my name is Harshit Sharma and I'm a 3x CRM certified. I'm a volunteer at New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. Currently, I'm a final year computer science student. And these are the social media handles where you can connect with me. So this is a brief about our New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. These are the social media handles, the hashtags which we follow, and these are the some initiatives which are undertaken by New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group, whether it's some mentorship central, talent central, and Impact Salesforce Saturday. So yeah, Impact Salesforce Saturday is a series of online sessions in which is conducted by New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. And here we conduct a series on different verticals of Salesforce. You can also check on our website for the past sessions as well as for the upcoming sessions of Impact Salesforce Saturday initiative. Yeah, Talent Central is again another initiative taken by New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. It's a kind of you can say Naukri.com or Monster.com where Salesforce specific students can enroll, and on the other end, the human resource team can enroll and they can connect them. And we have many success stories came out of this Talent Central portal. And in near future, we are also looking to expand it to another level as well. This is a new initiative started by New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. Let's implement, where some practical exposure will be given to the trailblazers in the community, along with the mentor, which will be provided to them. These are the Journey to Salesforce Telegram channel, which are very useful for the people who are in the IT industry and looking forward to switch their career to Salesforce. These are some top contributors from our volunteering team of New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. And these are some channels where you can follow New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group, whether it's our website, it's the portal of Mentorship Center where you can register to get mentorship, and the YouTube channel where you can find the recording of the previous sessions, the Twitter handle, LinkedIn, and Telegram channel to stay updated for the upcoming events as well. Thanks to our sponsor, Cloud Vandana and Greyopus. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending today's session. Over to you, Pankaj sir. You are on mute, sir.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Harshit. Thanks for that
Thank you.
wonderful introduction as ever. Okay. So who is struggling with his audio? Any about here? Abhay, try logging in and logging out. It will work. As in life, other things work out. It doesn't work out, reboot. That's all. So, hi everyone. Can I see some excitement going around? We are on the last session of Salesforce Marketing Cloud sessions number 4. That is the last session of the 4 series. I hope you seriously enjoyed these sessions. You like those sessions and were able to get some knowledge out of it, because I did. In the process of actually preparing these presentations and demos, I was able to learn. So I hope the same goes with you guys as well. So can I say one or yes for excitement? Is everybody ready to start? One or yes? Can I see one? Yes. If everybody is ready to start. And we have around 43 participants as of now. So that's a very healthy count. Let me tell you that. And I am presuming it will go up more than 50 and it will remain till that level. So that's the level of excitement we are having for these sessions. Okay. So I'm getting a lot of one and yeses. So everybody seems to be excited for the 4th session. Before that, just one quick thing. I announced it in session 3 as well. for everybody's understanding, I do want to share some understanding or knowledge on how to optimize or use your LinkedIn platform. That is a workshop that I'm conducting on 27th of February. 1 hour workshop, bombasted with content, with real-time insights as to how to optimize your profile, what is the content strategy that you should have in order to boost your profile, whether it's for job you're looking for, or it could be for your personal brand that you're making, which goes a long way. So that kind of workshop I'm conducting on 27th of February from 11 to 12:15 a.m. Morning. I'll post the link over here. And so Sophia is saying, could you please put your volume up, sir? I am actually shouting in my room, Sophia. So I don't think so I can move it a bit up. But anyways, I'll put my microphone close to my mouth. So that is a content is of really high quality. I've been using that content and I have seen a lot of success on my LinkedIn profile. So that is something that is happening. I'll paste the link right away on the chat window for everybody. So that is the link that is right now. It's a closed loop workshop. I'm not putting it out on LinkedIn for now. I'm giving the preference to the people who are attending the workshop. So it's for you. The link is provided in the chat. Please register yourself and I will be opening that very soon. So that was about LinkedIn workshop. Okay. So what happened in the last workshop? Come on. What was the topic that was covered in the last workshop, session 3? Can I get some answers from the people who are there? What was the topic that we covered? Journey builder. Yes, Abhishek. Journey. Come on, guys, respond. That's the only way in offline sessions to gauge how the attendees are interacting. You might be sleeping, so I don't know. So yeah, so please, yes, JB, as we call it JB as well. JB, AB, Automation Studio, Journey Builder, JB. Okay. Who else is a Trailblazer community member known as JB? Anybody has an idea? Who is also nicknamed JB in our Trailblazer community, Marketing Cloud Champion? Who is that? A quick trivia. Anybody? Yes, Sohail, you're right. It's Josna Bitra. She's also fondly called as JB. Let me share my screen now. Okay. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Great. So what is the agenda that we are covering today? Recap of session 3. So I'll just quickly take 30 seconds to recap what we did last time so that it get refreshed in your memory, because it's a way linked to this session number 4. We'll be talking about Automation Studio, basics of Automation Studio or AB. What are the different activities that are completed as a part, or rather as a part of Automation Studio, and basics of Content Builder. This is the agenda for today's session. What happened in session number 3? We went through what is Journey Builder. We saw into the aspect of a very, very well-known question. What is the difference between Journey Builder and Automation Studio, and when to use what? Very key question, very important. And I thought I did a good job in explaining that. So if there is any question, do let me know. What is the Journey Builder use cases? So we did took a nurturing journey, we created a journey on the dynamic canvas and showcased what is the use case that can be utilized for a Journey Builder, although a basic one, but a very important use case. So that was the content that we discussed last time in session 3. So moving on, what is a part of session 4? Automation Studio. What is Automation Studio? Automation Studio is nothing but a feature or a module, if you would like to call it, within Marketing Cloud umbrella. So Marketing Cloud is an umbrella and there are a lot of features inside that. So that Automation Studio is an application, module, feature within Marketing Cloud to do data management activities. What is data management activities? When you say you do typical ETL or slicing and dicing of data, what does slicing and dicing? Filtering the data. There is one data extension with 100 records. You want to put it into 2 data extensions based on certain value. Let's say, for example, gender, male or female. you make it into 50-50 records in 2 data extensions. That is a data management activity. You can lift and shift the data, take the data from one source and put it into a data extension. That is again a data management activities where you are lifting and shifting the data. So that is the typical activities that are a part of Automation Studio. So basically it does the heavy lifting of the data within the platform, which Journey Builder doesn't do. So that is the main use case of Automation Studio: putting the data, taking the data from one location, putting it somewhere else, segregating the data into multiple data extensions or multiple categories, if you will. And there is a basically a canvas, just like Journey Builder. There's a free open canvas for you to see the automation, how to configure the automation. So we'll get into the demo very soon, because there are no more slides to discuss. It's just all about pure hands-on that we'll be doing. And let's quickly see if there is anything else also left. So yeah, so data management activities on an immediate or triggered. So basically immediate means you can right away do it. Triggered means after a certain number of time. That is a mechanism to start that automation activity. And as you said, you can schedule it as well. So what next? Demo time. Let's get into the demo. Hopefully it hasn't logged me out. Good, it hasn't. So as you can see, I'm right now in my Marketing Cloud instance. Where should I go for that? I will zoom it a bit as well. So I should go to Journey Builder, and then within Journey Builder, there is an option for me to show Automation Studio. I'll click on that. And this is the landing page that I'll be taking to in Automation Studio. Just like Journey Builder, if you see on the left hand side, these are all the folder structure that needs to be maintained to create for those automations. So what I'll do is I'll take a use case, move around that use case along my discussion. So the use case is you get your customer data from an external website or external server, and you keep it at a location. We call it in Marketing Cloud an enhanced FTP location. It's basically a if you want to simplify it, it's a location on the web where you dump the data from external system, and from there on, Automation Studio needs to pick that data, filter that data with the other activities that I'll talk about, and then from there on, you can do your operations. The operation could be send an email that you can do with the help of automation. So that is the use case we'll be talking along. So you get the data, customers data from an external system dumped into your FTP or location, which is related to Marketing Cloud. From there on, you pick that data with the help of automation activities, various activities which we'll be talking about. Do certain filter on those activities, put it across in a data extension, and then send email from that. So that's the use case that we'll be talking about. And that data would be, for example, that data is coming, your customer's data is coming for birthdays. The example could be a birthday. So wherein every day, let's say nightly job runs from external system, you get the customer's data, 100 records for whose birthday it's today. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, you get that data of 100 customers whose birthday is today. So from there on, you pick that data, make sure you have filter it based on whether it's a male or a female customer, and then that is segmentation. And from there on, you send the email. So that's the use case. You have to send the email to the birthday emailers to your customer based on the fact that it is a male or a female. That's all it is. So that's the use case we'll be talking about. So quickly coming back to our landing page of Automation Studio. So if you can see on the left hand side, these are all the folder structure that you can create. You can create new folders and create and store your various automations that you have already created or you're planning to create over here. As a best practice, if you're working in enterprise team, make sure you have a proper folder structure replicating the team structure you're working. It's very important, because pretty soon there would be too many automations and it will be very difficult to identify. So please do that. Then this middle section shows all the automations that are configured for me. So this is my business unit. There are not many good automations, but in a typical enterprise scenario, there would be too many automations that are coming across. Okay, so for example, this is one automation. Then there's second one, third one. So we'll be talking about, let's say, Pankaj test, and I'll show you what I have done over here. It's for a test purposes. And these are different automations that I've come across. And on the right hand side, this gives you a summary view. Okay. So that's how basically you should look at this landing page. Let's go to, so this is the overview tab. What is the next tab? Activities. So these are different activities that can be used within that automation. So look at automation as a canvas, just like Journey Builder. It's an overarching activity which uses different low level activities. So for example, send email. So in that automation, one of the part is to send email. So this is the activity with the help of which you will be able to send email in that automation. So look at from that angle, that this send email is used within that automation to do a specific act, which is send email. Import file, take file from one location to another location. So as my use case, so this is one activity which will perform that one task under that full automation. Similarly, file transfer, SQL, filter. Remember, these are only 5 in number, which is allowed by my access, in the sense that it has been rather activated for me. There are around, I think, 15 activities, if I'm not wrong, in total, but certainly they are not reflected over here because I don't have access to it. So you need to get it activated by raising a case, or in some cases there might be a purchase. I'm not sure, but it depends on what you have got activated for your org. So for me, it's, since it is a training org, it's only 4 or 5 of them are activated. Great. What else? Overview and activities. So shall I move on? What, any questions till now? Anybody? Okay, we are good. Thanks, Karthik. So that was the candid handled attachments. To attachment is a different story. Attachments you have to actually pay. Activities sequenced. I'll just show you how the activities are sequenced. But Simi, to answer your question, can it handle attachment? Attachment will come as a part of emails, which will be there. Punita is saying as far as those 7 activities in the activities tab. Punita, it could be more than that. It might not be activated for you. Names of those activities is simple. Google it. What I will show you, I hope you can see my just simple Automation Studio Marketing Cloud. You'll get a list of all the activities. Simple. Shibu is adding, thanks Shibu for data extract, script activity there. I think around 12 to 15. So where is that? So there's a simple automation activity. Yes, this is the link. So see, where is that? See, these are the activities, Punita. Okay, so there are many more than what is right now shown in my org, but for the comprehensive list, just go to help.salesforce.com, which is anyways, you know, it's very intuitive. Just a joke, but yes, you can go there. Okay. Then we will move on. Okay. So what does the activities mean? So let me just create a automation workflow and show you how it is orchestrated. So Automation Studio automation is basically an orchestration of various activities, just like Journey Builder we saw last time. It's just an orchestration of all those activities which do the real work. So I'll go to overview and click on new automation on the right hand side. Okay, so here you see on the right hand side there is a blank canvas which shows me how to drop those activities into the canvas. It's very simple, click and drag, intuitive way of doing it. Okay, first section is about how to start the automation. The automation can either be start at a certain time. Let's say, for example, 2 p.m. today. That could be one example, or based on certain factors, like as I said in example, file is dropped in your location at 4 a.m. in the morning every day. So that can also be used to trigger the automation. So this could be these 2 ways of triggering an automation. Then these are the different activities. See, they are much more than they were there in my previous panel. So like, for example, data factory utility was not mentioned over there. Some other are as well there, but For the sake of simplicity, I'll be talking about 4 or 5 of them just to give you a taste of what is the use case that they can be used for. And absolutely, depending on your complex use case, you can certainly get into more details of it, and the help. Anything, go for help.salesforce.com for a comprehensive list of all it. Trailhead is also a good source to learn in a practical way, in the sense that it will give you with some more use case, because help.salesforce.com, as you all might be knowing, is a pretty boring way to learn because it's documentation. So it's supposed to be like that, but Trailhead is a basically interactive way of learning. So you make use of both the sources in order to enhance your knowledge. And if you're stuck anywhere, because these are basically bookish knowledge, theoretical knowledge, once you start working on any of the marketing cloud aspect, and this is a general statement for any Salesforce uh, use cases or work that you are doing, what I do as a practice is, first of all, I go and search in Stack Exchange, very vibrant community. I go and look for work Stack Exchange if there is already been question answered. I do also sometimes I do raise a case on Salesforce in order to understand whether it's enabled or not, and I go to Trailblazer community as well. So there are a couple of ways to answer your questions, because your questions could be very specific to the use case, and some of them might not have been encountered. Hopefully not, but this is the way I approach if I'm stuck somewhere, because I'm pretty sure if you start working on it deep down, you will be having some questions which are very unique to your use case. So use this approach of actually trying Stack Exchange, Trailblazer community to answer your questions. And in some cases you're stuck, you can certainly raise a case for Salesforce as well for some guidance. However, they don't tell you in terms of best practices and what needs to be done as a use case, but certainly they can guide you in terms of what are the if something needs to be activated, something needs to be done from their side, they can help you with that as well. So a couple of ways in order to get those questions answered. Okay, so I will move on next. Okay, thanks Shibu for updating the answers. Thank you. Okay, so our use case was, remember our use case of birthday emailers. Let's create an automation for this use case. Okay, so what all I'll need to start with, I'll be needing a starting source, as I spoke about. Either it could be scheduled or file drop. I'll show you both, and then we'll take one of them. For example, I'll click. What I've done is I've just dragged it over here, kept it on this side. I'll talk about it. Drag it, keep it over here, click on configure. The option is basically what is the start date. And I'm trying to be simple, I'm not getting very specific, but so that you get the gist of it. The idea is to understand what automation is with the help of what is the use case it can be resolved. Okay, so for example, I'll start it at 9 a.m. Sorry, 9th of February. Make sure you remember the time zones. It's very important because we generally work with enterprise customers in different time zones, not certainly in India. And I said 4:30 a.m. So let's say 4:30. Okay, and then I can repeat it. The frequency I can set for my use case. Let's say it's only run daily. Okay, every 1 day after occurrence, and I can also put after 12. So it ends, basically some end time. Done. It's done. Let's look at file drop. What is file drop all about? Okay, so these are the, you need to choose the directory from where it needs to be done, and what are the file patterns. So what basically happens is, in your file drop location, there would be multiple files that would be dropped. So because it's a common repository to drop files from external system. So what you can also do is you can use a file pattern. When I say file pattern, basically what it means is all the files that are dropped as a best practice should have a nomenclature which tells you when it was done, what is the content all about. So for example, birthday emailer for 6th of February, version 2, for example. So that's how, so basically it tells you this is for birthday emailer, this is the date for which the file is for, and some versioning if required. You can use this pattern to actually do that activity. So it can say, let's say contains, and you can say contains, for example, birthday, for example, something on the lines of birthday campaigns. version, you can use that file pattern to identify that specific file and run your start your automation on. So basically, instead of actually looking for any file, you can specify which files to look at. Okay, so that was about this one. I'll cancel it. I'll use a simple one to for my use case, which is a file drop at a certain time. And oh, sorry, the other one. So it will run at, what is the date? 8 4:30 a.m. in the morning, and it will run daily. And let's say it will end after 12 runs. Fine. Now, these are the activities which are there on the canvas with the help of which I will run my use case. Which the use case that I said was about birthday emailers. Okay. So the data is being put into a directory. From there, an enhanced FTP directory. From there, I'll import that data into a certain data extension, filter that, and then send the emails. 4 steps from enhanced directory to my from that external to my directory, from there on to a certain data extension, slicing and dicing or filtering activity as we call it, and then sending an email on top of it. So how do I start that? So somebody asked the question of sequencing. Basically, it's handled like this: step one, step two, step three, for example. So that's how it is handled. So I'll just zoom out a bit. Okay, hope that is fine. So this is how you sequence those activities. So for now, I'll delete it. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll use a file transfer one. I'll use, what is the next one? This is, let me use a wait activity as well after file transfer. Let me, maybe not. Let me use, where is the other one? Filter. Yeah. So let me use a filter activity. Then I'll use an email activity. So the file transfer will take it from one location to the other. Filter will slice and dice the data. Send email will finally send that data to the subscribers. So that's how you are sequencing it. Okay. And I'll quickly save it. Of course, you can name it. You have to name it. Then in that case, there are 3 other tabs I'll just talk about. But yeah, that's the use case. Okay. Fine. Now I need to configure each of these steps. Okay, so this is the overarching automation that we have created for our use case. Now I need to get into each specific activity, just like Journey Builder, get into those activities and configure those activities. So for example, file transfer, I'll click on choose. Now it takes me to the same tab. You see activities, these are pre-configured activities that I have done. So it takes me to that and allows me to select one of it and shows me a summary, and I'll say done. I'll come to that aspect, how to configure those activities. But yes, again, I need to configure now the second step, which is a filter activity. So what are the filters that are already saved? Let's say this is the one that I had created for demo. I'll select all the filters activity that are configured for me, and I'll select one of them. Send email. Again, it goes into send emails. What are the send emails that are configured? Okay, so what I've done is I have configured the automation with all the activities for now, and I will do a save of it. Okay, and I'll get into each activities in the next segment. But yes, to show you how automation works, this is the automation that I have created, which transfers the file, filters the file, and then sends that into send the email as well. Okay, for my birthday use case that I spoke about, and I have saved it once. Now once I have saved it, I'll just quickly talk about the three tabs on top. Summary. This gives you a summary view of the description, where is the automation saved, etc., etc., who has created, who has run it. So all the properties of that particular automation, you can do that. And once the automation has run, you'll get the recent activity pre-filled as well. This is workflow in detail that we had already seen. And then this is, once you have run it, all the data analytics around that will be exposed on this third tab. So what is the next activity that we need to do? We need to run it once to check. Okay. So now select all activities and run. So that's how simple running an automation. I won't run it because it's not configured for me to run in the system smoothly. But yes, that is how you run an automation. Or if it is scheduled, it automatically runs at a certain time. You just need to activate it. Okay, I'll go back. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. This is my daughter, guys. I'm home alone with her, so she is playing nearby me only. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Go play. Everybody is there.
Sir, you are on mute.
Yes, Harshit.
Yeah.
I was just specifying my daughter who wants some attention. I'm sorry. So yeah. Now, moving on. So this was about configuration running. Okay, now what has happened is, I'll clear that. I'll cancel it. Okay. So we spoke about creating this automation, which is an overarching structure with the help of file transfer activity. Second is filter activity. Third is send email activity to complete our use case. By the way, I'm just trying to simplify the use case. There could be multiple scenarios that could be playing across, but since the attendees are at a beginner level, my idea or my mandate is to make sure that everybody understands the basic of it. Some of you might be using it to a greater extent in complex use cases, but the idea is to get everybody on board. Hence, I'm using a very simple use case with trying to simplify it to an extent that it can be understood by somebody who hasn't had any taste of Automation Studio. Okay. So as I was saying, this file transfer, filter, and send email, these are the three activities that I have used. What are these activities in detail? So we'll get onto this next level now. Okay, as you can see on the left hand side, these activities are basically provided to me, and what I'll do is, before starting a use case, I can do it both ways. As I saw in the automation, I can create an activity then and there if I want, or like for example, I'll go to my use case. Where is my use case? File transfer Pankaj test. I think that was the one. No, did I save it? Thought I save it. Yeah, this is the one, I think. Oops, I don't think so. I saved it. I can't see it. Just a moment, guys. Got it. I think this is the one. So okay, so this activity, as you see, has these details in it. Now either you can do it that, okay, let me just first delete it and I'll show you. Either you can go and file transfer. Where is this one? Okay, so I need to rearrange it because that has been done. So send email goes to last, filter, and then file transfer. Fine. So I can choose it and I can create a new file transfer activity. So I can choose the pre-created ones, or I'll go and create a new one, which is what I was trying to show you over there. Okay. So I'll go and show you in that particular mode. So I'll save it once so that I can refer it back. And now I'll come to the activities tab. Okay, so these are all the activities with the help of which I will be configuring or you will be configuring this automation use case. Fine. So let me just click on this send and show you what needs to be there. So these are already pre-created ones. I'll just quickly create an activity and show you what needs to be done. So I'll select a send email activity. So basically this activity was a third activity in the group. Let me go with the sequence. So to make it easier for you, I'll cancel it and I'll use the file transfer one. Okay. So this is the file transfer one, which was taking the file, and I'll quickly create an activity over here. Where is file transfer? This is the one. I'll select next, and then see, I'll just do all the naming of it. For simplicity's sake, I'll just say test. Okay, these are two file actions which I need to do. One is your manage file, other is one is your move a file. So manage is basically encrypting or decrypting. This is a concept wherein what you do is basically, so the files, as a best practice or as an enterprise environment, what happens is files come to us in an encrypted format or a zip format. That's a normal use case where the files doesn't flow to us in a normal format. It's already encrypted or zipped. So there is an activity with the help of this manage file. You can, if you want to, unzip or decrypt a file. Okay, or with the help of this file transfer activities, what you can also do is this transfers the file from Marketing Cloud secure storage location to, so basically it's the other way around. It sends the file out. So transfer the file to secure storage to a selected FTP location. Okay, so this is basically the two options that is provided. Let's take a manage file for your understanding. And these are all the configurations that needs to be done for managing the file or decrypting the file or unzipping the file. So here you can see, you can again use these patterns. See if it belongs to 2021 regex pattern. So when I say regex, regular expression, basically file naming. It's the system matches if something is related to, let's say, month, January, JAN. If you put it over here like this, it will identify that file like this. So that's the basic use case of regex patterns. Nothing much about it. And then where do you want to export it? So generally, let's say exact target enhanced FTP. It's an FTP location I spoke about. Do you want to unzip or uncompress the file? You can do that if you want. And then next, it'll summary, and that's how it will do. Okay, so that was about the, I'll cancel it, cancel activity. That was about the file transfer. Then there was something called filter activity. What is a filter activity? Filter activity is, as I said in our use case, it will filter the data based on certain attributes. So I have created this one to show the use case quickly to you. I'll go back to properties. So basically, first one is all about naming of that activity. Where do you want to keep it and all basic ones. And then these are the filter definitions that was created in Email Studio. If you remember, I spoke briefly about it. These are the filter definitions that we have created in Email Studio, and it reflects over here. So use that. In this case, the birthday of today is, I'm basically using birthday of today is a filter activity that I had created earlier, and I'm using that. So I'll quickly show you if I can to move forward. By the way, I can see a lot of buzz on the chat, so that's good. However, I'm unable to answer at this stage. If something is left by Shivu, then probably I'll also answer that later on. But yeah, thanks for answering. Email Studio. Okay, we are in Email Studio. Then I'll talk about subscribers. So I'm basically going to show you those filters that we had created earlier that I'm using. So birthday today, for example. So basically this is a filter that I've created, nothing but a filter that already created, and that one I'm using over here. So that's the filter activity that I'm doing. Another filter activity was gender. So basically what I have done is, based on the table structure, I do get to know whether it's a male or a female, and that's how I respond to it. Okay, so that is another filter criteria. So in our use case, it was birthday, so that is fine. And then you configure it, name it, and then summarize it. That's how. So that's what the use case is for your filter activities. Filter that from one data extension to, let's say, two data extensions based on it's a birthday, based on male or female, like that. So that's how the filter activity is based on certain conditions. Birthday is today, put it in this data extension. That's it. Okay, what else? Then we have got SQL query. SQL query. Okay, so this is one level more than normal filter activity. Filter activity, with the help of configurations, you can do that. What is your SQL query does? SQL query does is basically, with the help of SQL language within Marketing Cloud, you can do much more granular level of slicing and dicing of data, which might not be possible from a filter activity. However, keep that in mind that customization and configuration comes into picture. Filter activity is part of configuration. SQL query might come into a part of customization. When I say customization, basically the end user of this system could be marketers. They might not be aware of SQL query. So try and resolve it with out of the box features as much as possible. If not, then only go for SQL queries, because they might not be aware. So in case if they want to change it, to debug it, they would require somebody's assistance. So if possible, try avoid it. If not, then yes, absolutely. If use case calls for it, go for it. These are the queries that are stored, and this is nothing but you write a query and that's it. The query is in the form of structured language only. See, everybody would be aware of it if they have done their SQL part. If not, it basically says that get me these column data from this table or a data extension. That's it. So basically that's what it is doing. Very simple query. It could be very complex as well. It could be as complex as the one this is right now, which is showing, which I have written about it. But yes, see that it could be very complex as well. So that is the use case we are looking at. So SQL query helps you to do that, to slice and dice the data. Another very important thing is, just for your information, SQL query also does is basically it helps you to retrieve values from system tables called data views. So these are system tables which holds the value of, for example, email send, bounce, clicks. These are data which are stored in the system tables. Marketing Cloud, there's no UI where you can get this data. So with the help of this SQL activity, you can also extract that data and use it for your purposes or analytics analysis, whatever you want to do. So that is another good use case of SQL queries. Okay, then coming back to our send email activity, very, as the name suggests, you will send an activity. Test, I will just edit it and show you what it means. So basically pick the email template that you have created in Email Studio Content Builder, configure it, and that's how it is. So it's already, see if it is there. I'm just selecting from Content Builder one of the templates. For example, this one. Remember, it's picking from Content Builder. I haven't created anything over here. And then subject, pre-header, everything. So configure it over here. See all the sender profile and all the configuration which I spoke about in session 1 and 2 needs to be configured over here as well. Click on next, and then what against which data population it needs to go, what is the targeted and excluded list, everything needs to be shown over here. Like for example, data extensions, where is my data extension? Impact Saturday. I need to send it across to this customer data. Okay, cannot be a part of, okay, fine. So basically that's the data extension that I'm looking at. Anything which needs to be excluded or suppressed, that is do not contact, for example, needs to be added over here. And then that's it. Some more clicks for getting more configurations done. And I think that's it. Yes, summary. So that's how you basically configure this send email activities. Okay, so I'll come back to all activities. What else is left? Import file. Okay, import file is basically taking a file from one location to other location. That's what import file does. Okay, and you also map it. So basically, I'll just quickly show you that as well. So This is a nomenclature, of course. Anything wrong, send this notification. Okay, so this is the export directory where you need to export it. File naming pattern I spoke about, some date format configurations. This is a data extension that you need to select, in which the data would be there. You need to map it of what file that you are picking from there to the one. Finish, that's it. So these are the activities that we were using as a part of those automations. So I'll quickly come back to this screen. So send email, import, these are the ones that are all provided. And of course, there are a lot many of them which are not mentioned over here. You can have a look for yourself. Okay, so that was about Automation Studio. Quickly, I have around 15 minutes left. I won't be taking questions at this stage. What I'll be doing is I'll be moving on to Content Builder. What is Content Builder? Okay, so just give me a moment. Where is my PPT? Because I want to show you a quick definition. What is a Content Builder? Contact Builder, sorry. By the way, Content Builder and Contact Builder. Content Builder is to create content, email templates that we saw, I think, in session 2. Contact Builder is something that with the help of which you can create relationships between different data extensions, different tables, so that you can utilize that relationship. Okay, so that is Contact Builder. It's all about how do you manage data of the contacts. What is a contact? Contact is a subscriber whose subscriber is basically related to Email Studio only, but contact sits on a high level wherein you can send a contact any communication with any channels. It could be email, it could be SMS, it could be in-app notification, it could be advertising studio, anywhere you can send it. So that is what the contact is all about. Okay, fine. So let's go into our system and see quickly what a contact builder looks like. Where it is in audience builder, contact builder option is there. Okay, so this is a attribute group, which means nothing but based on the kind of use case you can create a group for yourself. So for example, I've created a group for impact or a demo. So think it of as a grouping that we are doing for this table or data structure. So okay, what I have done over here, so my use case is over here, and I'll try and help you with what I have done over here with that use case. Is basically what I'm saying is my customer details, which holds this structure, customer ID and my customer data details like name, email ID, etc., etc. And then my customer purchase table is also there, wherein the customer ID against with what purchases he has done is mentioned. So for example, customer ID, product name, what is the product he has bought, what is the quantity, what is the date of purchase. So basically, if this is my details, this is the products that I have purchased details. I have related these two tables. I have created a relationship between these two tables. Now, how I have done it? It's very simple, based on mapping. In this case, customer ID for these two, amongst these two tables, customer ID I have utilized to map it. So because this is the primary key in both these tables, so I've used them to map it to these key. It can be one-to-one, one-to-many as well, but in this case, it could be both. But in this case, it could be one-to-many because I can purchase multiple products, more than one products. Okay, just a moment, guys. Yes, I'm back. Thank you. So that was about customer details and customer purchase, the use case, and how I have related it without getting in too much technical details. What is the use of it? So now I have created a relational database model. If you have worked in Salesforce, CRM site, or any other databases, basically I've created a relationship model between the different tables, how they are related to each other. One of the use case, why we should do that, why we shouldn't use that, or rather why should we use that, what is the advantage of it is, of course, you can, with the help of this customer table, you can get into the customer purchase table and get the details of it. I'll give you a small example. So for example, if I am in a journey, I'm creating a journey, because this is a technical setup that is done by the technical architect or technical leads, not exposed to the marketers, who's the end user. So what the end user will benefit out of it is, I'll try to show you that now. By the way, on these tops, these are different aspects of content builder. Just quickly have one liner about it. This is the list of all the contacts which are existing in your uh, org, list of all of them right now, which is, for me it is not there, but yes, this is the list of all the contacts which will reflect over here. What are the different data sources that is configured? So there was a question last time. I'll just quickly show you one. Give me a moment. I'll quickly show you the synchronized data extensions that we are getting from Salesforce CRM to Marketing Cloud and how it is stored over here. I'll quickly show you that as well. Okay, so if you can see over here, accounts, contacts, and leads. These are the data that is coming from CRM and sitting over here via synchronized data extension with the help of Marketing Cloud Connect, which is a bridge between the two, CRM and Marketing Cloud. So that is something somebody asked me last time about that. This is the answer to that question. I'll come back to my business unit and continue this. By the way, we have last 7 or 8 minutes, so I'll be trying to wrap up. And Harshit, then I'll handing it over to you for the Kahoot. In the meantime, we'll see for the questions as well. Okay, that was data sources I showed you. This is the data extensions, which is, you are aware of that. What is the data extensions that we are talking about? Because we saw it over there, different aspects of it. But yes, these are data extensions. These are the different imports that you have done. It gives you a list of that. These are some of the admin configurations for the contacts that you can do, whether contact delete, etc. Contact delete is a very interesting one. I'm not delving in detail, but it is a very important one considering the GDPR that we spoke about in session 1 and 2. So that was about, yeah, so I was going to talk about Journey Builder. I'll quickly go to Journey Builder and show you what's the use of actually using this relationship. Okay, so basically with the help of these tables, what you can do is you can reach out from the customer data, because the table was linked to the purchase data. You can use a data extension and then move on to the different tables. It gives you an option to keep on moving in that. Okay, so that was basically the reason or the advantage to be used over here in one of the journeys. So for example, your journey is configured for that. Now, if the journey is configured for the, and you can use contact data as an option. Remember, I spoke about in Journey Builder contact data and journey data. You can use contact data, which I have configured in Contact Builder. Remember that you can use it over here to traverse to different tables and get the data from purchase details, not only customer data. First table, you can move on to different tables and fetch the data and do your operations on that. So that is the one of the use case or advantages of doing that within the Contact Builder. Understood? So that is the use case I wanted to show you in Journey, how you can use that as a logical sense, how you can use it to do that. So that being said, what I'll do is I'll try and wrap up this session number 4 for Automation Studio and Contact Builder, and I'll pass the baton to Harshit for his Kahoot quiz. And in the meantime, I'll look into the chat window for the questions that are popping up, and if they haven't been answered, I'll try and answer it. Harshit, over to you, mate.
Thank you so much, sir, for this session. I'll be just sharing my screen. In the meantime, please do check the questions in the chat box. There are many.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So Sohail, difference between contact and subscriber. Contact is basically sitting on top. Subscriber is only called as under email studio. Subscriber is to whom you send emails. Contacts can be used to send SMSs as well, other channels as well. So contacts is on top, basically what we are trying to say. I'm looking at a smaller one first. Oh, Sophia Kadri, you are asking a question that I've been harping upon since session 3, JB and automation. So different use case is actually it's a use of it's a complementing in nature. So automation does that filtering of data, for example, as in my use case. Automation does that, and JB is used to target the customers or sorry subscribers in a very personalized way. Whether it is open or not, you can record it, and based on that you can actually send your next email. So different things, different use case, but mostly used in conjunction. Okay, Abhishek is asking what is the use of disabled queuing options in file drop. So for queuing, so basically the idea is it won't wait for a next activity to begin. So basically it will, automation won't start or will start depending on whether you disable it or enable it. So that's the queuing, file queuing. Basically file is coming, you are queuing the next activity based on that. So enabling or disabling will actually change that configuration. Okay, thanks Shibu for answering a lot of them. I think you've already answered, so that's good. Yes, playbooks are also old. I don't think so I've used too much of it. Guided sense, yes, retired. Okay, so are you planning to give a session on AMP script and SSJS? Nope, it is something related to customization, not scoped as a part of that. Punita ma'am or Punita? Activity, I'm just traversing to the questions, guys. And in the meantime, Harshit has provided the pin for Kahoot. So please try and log in and be ready once we are kind of done with the questions. I think SQL query has also answered. Yes, time zone is, I think Ashish, or I'm not sure who, is asking how do we solve when it comes to worded time zone. So out of syllabus question, Ashish, but certainly it's not a simple one. I'll certainly get back to you on that. It's not a simple one. By the way, who is aware that what is the system clock? What is the time zone in which Marketing Cloud works as a system clock? So which time zone across the world the Marketing Cloud works on? Session recording, Ruchi, just go to this page on New Delhi website, and they would be, after a couple of days, this recording will be uploaded. Abhay, you are asking which option is used most. Depending on the use case, there is no scenario, but what I have seen with my experience is scheduled file drops are mostly used in the cases where you are having dependency on the previous system to give you the data. Remember, Marketing Cloud is not a place to store the data. Okay, if you want to store the data, don't do it on Salesforce as such. It's a very expensive place to actually store the data. License cost is very expensive, so don't do that as a practice. Use some other places to store the data and get only relevant data in Marketing Cloud, do operations on it, and take it out. That's it. Don't use Marketing Cloud to store data. Keep on purging the data on a regular basis. So the best practice, always remember, not even for Marketing Cloud, as I said, Salesforce also, it's not a place to store the data unless it is used. Otherwise, take it out of Salesforce. It's very expensive, the cost. By the way, Salesforce is in general very expensive if you talk from an Indian context, as you might be aware or not. So try not to store the data in Marketing Cloud. Okay. As of now, no sessions for AMPskit and SSJS. She was responded. If there is an interest, I mean, up to you, Harshit. If there is an interest from the people who are asking for AMPscript session, okay. By the way, that reminds me, go to my post. I'll just quickly post it on the link. Pluralsight is happening their weekend free classes this whole week. There are sessions from Elliot Harper and many notable people like David Liu, whose courses are free for this weekend. So there are AMPscript sessions, specifically answer to Punita's your question. There are AMPscript sessions, very well explained. I have also gone through that, although I've forgotten because I don't use AMPscript on day-to-day basis, but it's there free for cost. Use that time. I'll just quickly ping that link for you over here. On reports, please. Sohail, reports are very badly structured in Marketing Cloud, UI wise. But yes, certainly, I mean, Harshit, again, you can make a note of it, session on reports. In the meantime, somebody can go to my LinkedIn profile and get for that post. I posted it yesterday and posted over here. I'm going through the questions. Recording this, Punita, it's already there on the website. Kahoot is there. Yes, Central. Punita, you're right. It's CST. CST is the system time for Marketing Cloud. So it calculates everything based on the CST time zone. Okay, just remember that. GMT, no, it's CST. Then, yes, Harshit has responded for that. Thank you. Okay, TJ, I remember your question from last session, which I haven't answered. I still remember that question about a duplicate subscriber key scenario. So let me answer this question. Can Marketing Cloud get data from Salesforce big objects? When you say big objects, it's a custom object that you're talking about. I'm not aware. If that is the case, I'm not sure if you need to deep dive into Automation Studio. Yes. By the way, this the list that has Shibu has right now pasted over here. It's a really good one for each activity that he has done. So you can refer that. I have also done it. Referred that list. It's good video playlist on YouTube that talks about each activity and what are the use cases of that. So good one that. Okay, so Mayank, you're saying implement lead scoring using JB or AB. Okay, lead scoring. By the way, there's no out of the box way of doing it in Marketing Cloud. When I say I had seen certain articles on what's the name? Salesforce Ben, yes, of people utilizing lead scoring in Marketing Cloud. Okay, so certainly if you want, you can go to Salesforce Ben and access those articles. I haven't done it personally. If somebody has, can answer that question. But certainly it's not out of the box. You can do it because I've seen articles on it. It can be done. Is there any charges based on the contact count? Yes, Punita, there are charges based on contact counts. By the way, very interestingly, for everybody's knowledge, Salesforce never stops you from storing more contacts. But at the end of the year, they come back and charge you. So that is something that I've learned. Be cognizant of the fact that you purge the contacts which are not in use, basically all the subscribers for Marketing Cloud or contacts, I would say, because you will get the overage charges. When I say overage, basically, let's say your limit was 40,000 and you have stored 80,000. You will get a charge for extra 40,000. System won't highlight you, system won't stop you or give you that you are breaching the limit, but they will charge you. So be cognizant of that and keep your customer informed, and do have some data purging or data, I don't know, discarding activities or process into place. I mean, this is a general good practice anyways, but yes, from a Marketing Cloud standpoint, you'll get charged. So be remember or cognizance of that. Okay. I see on the screen is stopped stating you are in. See you. Okay, I'm not sure. Sai, what was the question? For wait for next lead. Okay, data reporting. She was saying yes. Yes, then we've got something from Datarama session, please. Abhay is requesting. Then TJ big objects. Okay, not supported by MC Connector. Thanks for answering that. Okay, Harshit, you have, I think you have posted that link, correct? Yes. So look for that Harshit link. That the Pluralsight link is free for this weekend. That is tomorrow, Sunday, PT time, end of PT time. So probably it will be Monday for us in India. So make use of it for AMPscript. I'm not sure SSJS is there, might be there. Have a look, but certainly Elliot Harper session for AMPscript is certainly there. Very useful. What else? Any sessions on Datarama and Einstein Insights? Interesting, Ashima. I'm not sure anything is planned on that. If certainly the requirement is, make a note, push it to the developer groups. We can certainly come back with that. Yes, Elliot Harper, Pluralsight Heights Challenge. Yes, you can search on Pluralsight, Elliot Harper, Pluralsight sessions, and you will also get that. But free sessions is there. Make use of it, free of cost. Good ones. My God, 50 questions. Is there an app exchange called SalesSwing that's used? Oh yes, that is also true, Shivu. Thanks for reminding. SalesSwing, although I haven't used it, but yes, that's something that can be utilized for lead scoring. By the way, the use case for lead scoring is more to do with a B2B scenario, not from a B2C scenario. And when I say I'm making a general statement. Why do you do lead scoring? Because for B2B scenario, the number of people are less whom you are targeting. B2C scenario, millions. Okay. So for B2B scenario, you need to choose your customer whom you need to interact with. So lead scoring helps you. Lead scoring and grading, there's another concept. Lead scoring and grading, combination of that helps you to tell which is the best person to actually reach out to without wasting your time. That is basically all about it. So at B2C, the use case is less for lead scoring. However, there is no, technically there's no stopping to that. But that's the concept behind it. So that's the reason I'm presuming Marketing Cloud has not come out with this lead scoring module. Maybe, maybe not. Can we use contact delete for unrequired contact? Yes, you can, Punita. Although there is some story around it, I'm not sure if somebody has answered that question. Basically, as a part of GDPR, I have a full right to ask, in this case, for example, Grammarly, to delete all my contact details if they are using Marketing Cloud, which they are currently using Marketing Cloud. So in that sense, they have to delete that contact. So with the help of that option, you can do that. Okay, but be careful of that. There is, I think, a concept of recycle bin. I haven't done it personally, so there is a concept of recycle bin as well. I'm not sure how it works out, but do read for that. But certainly that is the right use case for that button. Mank is asking for links of previous recorded sessions. Mank, go to this website, search for my name. That's how I do it, and you will see all the sessions. Under those sessions, there are PPT as well as videos uploaded against each session in one page itself. So that can simply help you out. Thank you, Ashima. Thanks, Jagdeep. Correct. So as Harshit said, go to New Delhi group, developer group, search for anybody's name. Like in this case, Pankaj, you'll see all the sessions that has been done by me, and each page you'll get PPTs and video recordings of that. Thanks, Punita. Thanks, Simi. Yes, Harshit, thanks for posting that link. Yes,
Thank
Punita.
you.
I think most of the questions were already answered by Shivu. Thanks, Shivu, for that. And chota mota questions I have tried to answer. I hope I made sense. And if not answered, then I try to confuse you. So I hope I'm done.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for answering all the questions. And also, like, if anyone has more questions left for Pankaj, sir, they can surely connect with them on Twitter as well as on LinkedIn. So in the meantime, we can start with the quiz.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay, so we have approximately 37 candidates. We can wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Please, guys, do join fast, and we can start it.
Come on, guys. I need to see more than 50 people. There are around 55 people, and we are just 39. So it has to be more than 50. Come on.
The pin is 6209731. If anyone is new, then please log into this website www.kahoot.it and you can use this game pin.
In the meantime, by the way, I have got more than 18 requests already for the LinkedIn workshop that I spoke about in the beginning. I'll just quickly copy paste the link again. If anybody is interested, I will later on post it in my LinkedIn, but please let me know if you're interested. I'm pretty sure it will be a action-packed session with a lot of insights, actionable insights into how to optimize your LinkedIn in general profile and strategy to obtain a good level of personal branding. One way is that you become marketing champion, just like Shibu. that will work out. That's one of the ways. But there are other ways for the other people to actually make sure LinkedIn works for you.
Thank you for mentioning, Pankaj sir. Can we start the quiz?
Absolutely, we are good. I think, come on, guys, 4 more, 50. We need to
4
reach to
more,
50. Come on, come on, come on. Who is left? Anybody is having any? I'm new to this Kahoot, Punita. I'm new to this Kahoot. Which option to choose? Punita, Harshit, if you can just quickly tell him, search Kahoot in Google, yes, Kahoot.it, and put the pin as soon as you enter. Correct, Harshit? That's it, no?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Please log in this join at link www.kahoot.it, and after that you can enter this game pin, which is 6209731.
Yes, we've breached the mark of 50, Harshit. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just locking it and starting the quiz. Okay, so the session has begun. The first question is, can I create a relational data model in Marketing Cloud?
Yes or no? Come on.
So either
Relational data
true or
model.
false.
Yes or no? True, false. Relational data model. Just spoke in the last 15 minutes about it. It cannot be wrong, guys. Please don't do make wrong choice in this. Okay.
Okay, so 37
Yes.
are yes. On the top is Abhishek, then Soil, then Jagdeep, Sai Prakash, and Mac. Okay.
We have a tie, by the way. Second, third, fourth.
Yeah.
Come on. Question number 2. Data model is
Data
prepared with the help
model
of which feature? Which
Yeah.
feature helps you to prepare data model? Just now, last 15 minutes. Automation Studio, Contact Builder, A and B, both options, none of the above. Come on, guys. Take a clue from previous question. It has to be right. Let's see. Very basic questions. Okay, so people are confused between the two. Okay, that's fine, but the
Yeah.
answer is Contact Builder. Data modeling. Come on, who's on top? Sohail, Adrika, TJ. Good.
Okay, so now we move to the next one.
Which activity is used to create complex segmentation? Segmentation, complex. Lifting and shifting of data, mix and matching of data, fetching of data, complex ones. Remember that. Not simple ones. Good. Thank you, guys. You saved my face. So, who is on
Okay, so
top?
Soil is again at the top.
Come on, Sohail. Chitranshi is there. TJ, Sheen, and then Ashima. Come on, guys. I think last 2 questions. Total 5 were there. So this is 4 out of 5. What all it can be started with? Automation Studio. 2 ways to start. What is that? Schedule, file drop. A and B, none of the above. Schedule or file drop. These are the answers. This has to be right, guys. This has to be right.
Oh my God, 43 answers right.
Good.
So Soil is again in the lead. Okay, so the scoreboard hasn't changed yet. The last question for the day.
Come on, guys. It has to be unzip or decrypt use cases best handled via which activity? Import, file transfer, verification, none of the above. Import is used for what? Verification is used for what? And file transfer. Just recollect. I just showed you with those activities. Good.
So the correct answer is file transfer activity, and the winner for today's session is Ashima on the 5th position. Congratulations. Sheen. Okay, sorry. Ashima on the 3rd. I'm sorry for that. Sheen on 2nd and Chitranshi on 1st. Oh my God.
Congrats,
Change of
Chitranshi.
leaders board on the last question.
Yes.
Congratulations to you. Okay, so Ashima, I would request you, sorry, Chitranshi, I would request you if you can please share your email ID in the chat so that the specs will be there on the way from the New Delhi team. And congratulations, everyone. Thank you for attending the session. Also, I would request everyone to please join the LinkedIn workshop organized by Pankaj sir.
Please do that.
Sir, please do mention the link if someone has missed it.
Again, done it.
No problem, Sohail. Your mobile got stuck. It was bad luck. Better luck next time. Thank you for mentioning the email ID, Chitranshi.
Thank you, Pankaj sir, for the session.
Thank you.
Thank
Pleasure is all mine.
Yeah.
Thank you for interacting. TJ, last question. That question was left from your side previous. There cannot be two subscriber key, individual subscriber key. Basically, they cannot be duplicate. I'm not was aware of what was your use case. TJ, you asked that question. So you cannot duplicate the subscriber key in our subscriber table. If that was your question. Thanks, Shravan. Thanks, Instancy. At least there should be 3 prizes. TJ, you're right. Request Harshit and the New Delhi Developer Group.
Definitely, sir. We will look into it. But for the timing, we have for the first prizes only. Any other question left? Please do mention, everyone. Also, huge thanks to Shibu sir for answering many of the questions. Thank you, Pankaj sir, for the wonderful session as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's 12:17. We can wind up by 12:20. In the meantime, if anyone want to do networking or have any question, please do mention.
Anything, anybody, anything related to Automation Studio or the previous sessions.
Okay, Punita is asking when is the next session. So Punita, are you asking for the New Delhi group or for the Pankaj sir? Please do mention that.
So Punita, to answer your question, for Marketing Cloud, this was a wrapping up session. For other sessions, if you are specifically asking, okay, so both my next session is scheduled, I think, in Kanpur Developer Group on 20th of February, and post that it would be in Phoenix, I think Phoenix User Group. That's what right now my schedule is, and one is unscheduled for Kochi Developer Group. So that's what right now is scheduled for next month and a half for me. Harshit, you can talk about Developer Group if there is something planned.
Sure, sir, sure. So in the meantime, we are coming back with a new series on Pardot. So you all can stay updated by following the New Delhi Salesforce group on Twitter as well as on LinkedIn. And also you can check the website on daily basis for the previous sessions of Pankaj sir and other series which is conducted by the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. So you can stay updated with it.
Sure. And Mahendra is asking what will be the agenda of LinkedIn session. So agenda of the LinkedIn session is knowing something is half of the puzzle. Rest half of the puzzle is how to portray that knowledge in order to do something, in order to help the community, in order to actually make money out of it by getting a better job. So I will be talking about another part of it, how to portray your knowledge, how to help people, and then in that case, get noticed, get better jobs, and of course, become an expert in your field. At least that, so that you can help and reach out more. So the idea is to basically help people, and of course, a byproduct would be that you will be also helped in the way by acquiring knowledge, by getting better jobs. The idea on the LinkedIn workshop is to help you to optimize your profile. How do I do content? How do I push out content? How do I actually send requests to people to connect with so that they cannot reject? And overall, in how to actually take LinkedIn or use LinkedIn for your benefit. So that's the whole context of LinkedIn 1 hour workshop that I'll be driving, with some actionable insights into doing that. So I have fair share of success in LinkedIn as well. So I'll try and talk from my experience of how I have done it. And of course, this is one of the way of doing it, and you can use your experience to do that. By the way, this whole is under the universe of Marketing Cloud or Salesforce. I'm not talking going outside and talking in terms of digital marketing. It's more related to Salesforce. So I'll be talking examples of Salesforce mod influencers, somebody like Shibu who's there. How do I connect with him? For example, how do I network with him? How do I send requests that he cannot refuse and add to it? So that's how the idea is about in that LinkedIn workshop. So what is the difference between AMP-Script and SSJS? Sai Teja is asking, and which is a very, again, typical question, what to use when. And I think Shibu has answered customized programming. And again, a very subjective answer, depending on the use case. One more thing, AMScript is something which is very proprietary to Marketing Cloud. So you have to learn, it's a set of libraries, and you need to know those functions in order to do some work. SSJS, what I've also understood is basically that if you have JavaScript background, it's easier for you to learn because it's similar in nature in some certain contexts. So SSJS also, if you have some previous background of programming, it will be easier for you to grasp the concept of that. Or what else is there? Fields and notices. Is there a way to can do about it to handle? I think Sohail, there is a notification option if certain activity happens on the automation, so that you can use that to notify yourself. Yes. So she was answered same thing. So there is an activity tab. There is a option to notify the system admin or some email ID that you can add in order to get noticed if something has failed or on those lines. Okay, it's 12:21. I'll take one last question if there is any, otherwise we'll wrap up.
Guys, if any other question, please do mention. Yeah, thank you, Sohail, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And again, thank you, Sibu sir, for all the answers, and thank you, Pankaj sir, for the great learning experience.
Welcome is mine.
So I guess, sir, there are no more questions. We can wrap up with this session.
Okay, guys, thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Shibu.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.